And we are live. And welcome to another session of the DQ Labs Conversations. Today we have a very special session uh, with the toppers of Karnataka CET Architecture. And there's a great lineup of students who are here. It's brilliant to have all of these toppers here. And the idea is for you to connect and and figure out why how they've done whatever they've done. All right. Just 1 second. Yeah. Right. I'm sorry. I have. Okay. Right. Um, so we have a good lineup of students here. We have Prasid. So in the top 20 ranks, I mean, of course, our students have done very well. So in the top 20 ranks, we have uh, Prasid Bagmane. We have Anirudh Ramesh, Ananya Vaidyanathan, Disha Dilip, Aditi Banu Prakash. Um, we have Samyuta S, Charita Reddy, Disha Mukherjee, Rajat Kapoor, Rashi Beast. We have Simrita BS and Diksha Bandari. All right. But of course, not all of them are here. So here we have today with us Prasid. Prasid is here. Ananya will be joining us a little later. Anirudh unfortunately couldn't uh, make it to the session. Disha couldn't make it as well. Um, Aditi we have here, and we're very happy to have here. Samyata was not able to make it. Charita we're happy to have, as well as Disha Mukherjee. All right, and yes, so Rajat Kapoor, yeah, and is not here. Rashi Beast, Simrita is here. Yes, Diksha Bandari. So looking forward to a great session with all of you today. So yes, so let's just start off. If we can start off with Prasid, could you
Yeah.
just introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us your name, your NATA score, your CT rank, your KCET architecture rank, and the school you graduated from.
So hi everyone, this is Prasid, and I'm from Chikmagalur, Karnataka. My NATA score is 176.5. My KCET architecture rank is 3, and I've graduated from Sri Chaitanya PU College, Mangalore.
All right, awesome. Um, yeah. So the next we could go to Ananya is not here, so Aditi.
Hello, I'm Aditi Banu Prakash. My NATA score is 165 and my Karnataka CT rank is 9. I graduated from Base PU College, Rajajinagar, Bangalore.
All right, all right. Then let's have Charita.
My name is Charita. I'm from Bangalore. My Karnataka CT rank was 12 and I got 177.5 in NATA.
Fantastic. And how about Disha?
Hi, I'm Disha, and uh, is my screen shown?
Yes, we can see your
Okay,
screen.
yeah. So I'm Disha, and my NATA rank is 166. My KCT rank is 13, and I'm from Delhi Public School, Bangalore North.
All right, all right. Uh, Rashi.
Hello, myself Kashipis. I graduated from RN Public School, K. Kamraj Road. My history rank is 18 and my NATA score was 163.5.
Okay, okay. And Simrita.
Um, Hi, my name is Simrita, and I graduated from Delhi Public School, Bangalore South. And my NATA score was 168, and my CET architecture rank is 19.
Okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. So now from everyone here, everyone seems to have, apart from Rashi's taken SPA Vijayawada, and the rest of y'all have taken BMSCA. So is there any particular reason why y'all have selected BMSCA? So let's start off with Prasidh.
So yeah, it is one of the top colleges in Bangalore. That's the main reason. And yeah, that was my only option. Or yeah, even MS Ramya was my option, but I chose BMS at the end.
All right. So anyone else has a different perspective to that, or all of y'all just preferred BMS?
One of the main reasons for me was distance from my house. It's actually very close to my house. And since I didn't prefer to stay in a hostel, I just went with BMS.
Okay. So anyone stays far away from BMS but is still taking the trouble to go there? And
I live like 20 kilometers away from BMS.
Okay. So but that was a preferred choice of yours, and you're willing to do the travel.
Yeah.
Awesome. Very cool. Right. So let's probably go into the next part of this. Just a second. Right. So we'll take a few questions a little later, but let the questions keep coming in. But one of the key things that everyone is curious to know about is how you balanced your preparation for NATA as well as your boards. Now, this brings me to the question as to how long you'll have been preparing for NATA. Would y'all have any idea? Or would y'all want to talk about that? This is open to anyone, so y'all could just talk about it. Yeah.
So, I started in 12th grade, like just when the 12th grade started. Yeah, so.
Go ahead. Could you please repeat that, Rashi?
I said I started preparing in 12th grade, so I thought 1 year would be sufficient.
Okay.
It's actually more than enough.
All right. Yeah. So Rashi took about a year to prepare. Anybody else took longer or less than that? Charita?
I started preparing in first PUC for NATA because I knew exactly what I wanted to do after 10th grade. So
all right. So you were clear on that. Anyone decided to join after, say, their 12 boards? Or decided to choose NATA or prepare for NATA after their 12 boards? Was anyone here that, or all of y'all were just focused on architecture?
No, I decided after my 12th boards.
After your 12th grade. Okay. So prior to that, you had any other, so what made you look at architecture at that point of time?
I don't know. I didn't have any other options. So, my parents told to do architecture. So.
But you seem to have had all the options open to you because you've done pretty well in your boards so you would have taken other exams as well, right?
Yeah, my KCET as well, engineering.
Okay. Cool. So that's nice. That's right. So would you recommend that people, take 1 year or 2 years, or is there a time frame that you would recommend? Do you see that you should have joined earlier or started earlier, or you feel that what you've done is good?
No, I don't think so. Like, I feel 2-3 months is just enough for NATA.
Okay.
Like, yeah, you have PCM and that's basic. So, yeah, I think it's enough.
All right. Does anyone think that...
It really depends on person to person, so...
Yeah. Does anyone think that you would have required more time, or people, if you had to advise people from the next batch, would you recommend that they join earlier and they start preparing earlier?
For guessing,
is definitely hard. So like if you have to focus on drawing for at least like 6 months to get it fully right, I feel.
Right.
Because this year we got a little bit lucky and we didn't have drawing. I was disappointed, but...
True. I think the drawing skills were very important. But do you feel that with the change in format, all right? So they went from the traditional drawing and sketching to the PTQ format, all right? Now, all of y'all had pretty much been preparing for the last 1 year, 2 years, or 6 months apart from Prasid. But do you feel like you know you've lost out, or rather the skill sets what you prepared for has gone to waste? Do you feel that, or do you still think it's beneficial?
No, I mean, I think we definitely need the drawing skills because architecture, according to me, like you need a lot of drawing for architecture. So it would really be hard to cope up without like trying, having enough knowledge on drawing and then starting college. It would be hard. So I think it's good that we have the drawing background too.
All right, Charita, you seem to have a different perspective.
I was devastated when I heard we didn't have drawing because I focused a lot on like I put a lot of effort into my drawing because I thought that was one of my strongest points. So when I heard that they'd cancelled drawing from NATA, I was like, okay, this is done then. I can't do this exam anymore. But I guess it worked out. But I think we definitely do need like a background in art, at least, to like get into architecture. And but it is again like something you learn. So it's definitely like anybody could do it
Yeah,
with just time.
absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, I think yeah, probably the format changed because of the situation, but I definitely think that the skills are not lost. It's important to have those skills, and that should help you out. But nevertheless, I think once you'll get into architecture school, they will still treat you like you don't know sketching, and they'll still start off from scratch, which is important, but just helps you pick up a lot faster. All right. So, so that should be good, right? Okay. So the next, so the next challenge is how did you balance your preparation for NATA and your board scores? All right, your board preparation. So in Prasid's case, of course, he just decided to finish off with his 12th and uh, then work on NATA. So that was pretty much a no-brainer for him. Uh, but for the rest of y'all, it would have been challenging balancing the two. So how did y'all work that out?
Actually, like through my entire 11th and 12th, I also play a lot of basketball. So I was really busy with tournaments and studies, of course. And I was just really lucky that I had like ample time in the end because of the lockdown to study. But I feel one of the like main things that anyone can do is while you're studying for 12, like PCM is what you already have in school, and that comes for NATA as well. So you're covering it anyway. And when you're bored of studying or like in the weekends, you can just reserve like 1 to 2 hours and practice sketching or like do like aptitude and math and all, which is really fun. I really like those topics. So yeah, at least that's what I did.
All right. But that's interesting that you were balancing your passion for sport, for your basketball, along with your
Yeah.
studies and along with this. So, how did you kind of have like a schedule every day where you'll dedicate some time for this, some time for that, or you just focused on NATA for your weekends?
Yeah, it was mostly weekends where I gave time because during the weekdays, like the schedule used to be extremely weird actually, because we never had a set practice date because tournament used to like suddenly come up. So like even practice sessions were very random. So I couldn't really plan for like weekdays much, which is why I gave that proper importance during the weekends. So that's when I mainly studied for NATA.
Okay, okay, right. So Aditi, possibly let's go to you and see how you balanced your preparation for both.
From the beginning, I knew that both of the NATA preparation and the board preparation were on different tracks. My college helped me with the class exams and with all the periodic assessments. But I felt that I needed something extra to get through in the NATA exams. So a couple of my seniors suggested DQ Labs. So that's when I joined. The weekend classes really helped me a lot. They were very flexible. I could fit them in my schedule, and that's how I balance both of them.
Okay. But during the week, did you have trouble like attending your classes and then coming back and preparing for this? Did you study during the week for NATA as well, or you just waited for the weekends?
Yeah, almost every day morning or alternate days I used to study before going to college. So I had like every Mondays I used to have tests in college, so I used to study for that also. So mornings I used to study for NATA, sketching and all.
All right. All right. Cool. Cool, Aditi. Rashi, how did you balance?
We used to have Monday tests too, so like they weren't much, but I used to attend DC on only Saturdays. And after that, I had to go for like extra coaching for the JEE BTech program also. So I used to go on Saturday, like only Saturdays, and then ma'am used to give me extra homework because I used to attend quite less because of the tight schedule. So in the starting, I attended DQ actually only for sketching because I thought I can study GK and aptitude was a common thing. So I thought I'll study that later. And for that, we got plenty of time. So yeah, it was only sketching which I had to manage, and I had time on Saturdays. So it wasn't that hard.
Okay. Okay. So you primarily focused on sketching and then you uh, took that forward.
Yes, yes.
Cool. Disha, how did you manage?
So for me, so I joined DQ by the end of November or like early December. By that time, like we had to start preparing for boards. So like the full-on boards rush was there. So I I couldn't do a lot of aptitude for NATA, but I just practice the drawings which were there. Those were kind of like a break for me. And then the aptitude part I started after boards.
Okay. 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 So cool. Cool. But yeah, so then that would have been a bit of a challenge because after that you would have started preparing for the aptitude, and then the lockdown happened, and then so through that period of the lockdown and further, um, at that point of time you're still focusing a lot on your aptitude aspect of it, is it?
And drawing, because they didn't announce that we wouldn't have drawing, so that was still there.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Right. Okay. So Charita, what did you do?
I don't think I'm the best person to talk about this because I never really had a set timetable because I'm really bad with timetables. But I knew I had a deadline and I knew I had to be confident with my subjects before that deadline. So most of it just came down to that 1 month before NATA where I worked like really hard to be confident that I know my stuff before going into the exam.
All right. All right. Cool. But you did practice your sketching as well earlier. You would have worked a lot on your sketching, right?
Yeah, I used to go to DQ, I think 3 times a week almost for almost a year and a half to practice my sketching. So
Okay.
yeah, but
All right. All right. And the aptitude you focused during the year, or you focused only after your boards?
I think
Yeah.
GK and aptitude is it's very easy and it depends on like each person's interest. So whenever I had free time, I would just read through it because it was interesting to me.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Which actually brings me to the next, uh, part of this. Let's see. There are a few questions that are coming in. Um, let's see the questions. Okay. So Chaitanya Deshpande is asking, is KCET compulsory for architecture? So Chaitanya, in case you are applying for architecture seats in Karnataka, you need to apply to KCET Okay, you need to apply, but you do not need to write the exams. So we'll come to that a little later. How did you prepare for CET? Chaitanya, they don't need to prepare for CET. Okay, physics, chemistry, math is not required, but only NATA is considered along with their 12th standard board marks. All right. So Rishta Vinod is asking, can you please explain the process of getting admission into a college? So Rishta, I'll share a link with you after this or probably a little later. What happens is there is an entire process that's the application process where if you're applying to for government seats, you need to apply through CET, Karnataka CET. Whereas if you're applying for the college seats directly, you could either take a management seat or you could apply through COMEDK. So there are different ways of getting in if you're considering college in Karnataka. Otherwise, you need to answer JEE Paper 2 and consider the SPAs like what Rashi has done. And there are some of the students who've considered CPT, and they have their own admission process. So it changes from depending on the college. But if you do go on to our website, if you do go on to our YouTube channel, you'll find another webinar done about the admission process. All right. So Priyatham is asking, what would you say is the hardest part of NATA? All right. Now, for you guys, I think this is a very nice question, but for you guys, it would have been a little sketchy because there was no sketching this time. So uh, maybe in the PTQ questions, what did you all find the hardest? Open question to any of y'all. Charita, would you like to start off with saying what was the hardest for you?
Yeah. In the PTQ questions, I think just the unpredictability of the questions, because in the beginning we had no idea what was going to come. And I think the MCQs were definitely the hardest because they were GK and we didn't really know, there was no set syllabus for where the questions would come from. So I think the first attempt of NATA went really, really bad for me. And I just Google searched everything that was related to design and visual principles and read up about all of it so I could be properly prepared for the second test.
All right. All right. Disha, would you like to add anything?
No, it's the same. Like, we weren't sure what we were preparing for. So it was just like do everything, read everything, just know about whatever you can.
Okay. And it was quite a different format, isn't it? So, so coming down to that, the change in form.
Sir, you aren't audible. Like, I can't hear.
Is it? Am I audible now? Yeah. So, yeah. So my question was, what was the feeling when they announced a change in pattern and announced PTQs? All right. What was your first reaction to that, Simrita?
I think I was used to it at that point because even when they announced like PCM in NATA, that was only like a huge shock. So like after that, when they said like there would be like PTQs and stuff, I was just prepared for anything to change at any point. So yeah, it was a challenge. Like the first attempt, of course, like I just walked in blind, not knowing like what is gonna come. But that really helped for the second attempt. So I guess that was like a practice to write the second attempt.
All right, all right. So you use the first attempt as a practice. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Um, anybody else? Anybody else? So Prasid, what about you?
I was happy actually. We didn't have sketching this year, and to be honest, I'm not really good at sketching.
Okay.
So yeah, actually, I was happy. Aptitude is actually easy, and yeah, PCM, can do it.
All, all right. But so when they announced that there's no sketching and there's PTQs, so you would have been happy that there's no sketching. But did you have any, like, how did you
Uh,
figure out what PTQs were?
yeah, that's true. I didn't have any idea about PTQs, but yeah, I got a glimpse from DQ Labs after I attended the course. So
All
yeah,
right.
as Simrita said, first attempt was actually a practice session.
Okay. Okay. And then the second one was the one which you did well. Did
Yeah, correct.
anyone here? Did you all perform better in the first session than you did in the second? Anyone or all of y'all here did better in the second session? Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Okay. So that's cool. Um. Right. So Chaitanya Deshpande is asking what types of questions are asked in CT. So Chaitanya, I'm assuming you're talking about NATA and not CET, right? So there is a webinar that talks about the PTQ questions. You can have a look at that, and there's an analysis we've done after the first NATA test. So you can have a look at that as well. All right, both those webinars are there on our YouTube channel. Cool. So I'm just going to go to the next question. Okay. So the next question is what strategy did you use to prepare for NATA? All right. So we've covered that. What are the resources that you all used? Were there any? What was the overall resources that you used during the NATA? Your preparation for this.
I just depended on the DQ Edge. That's it. Because it was very helpful. Whatever we needed for the exam, everything was there, like sketching videos, assessments, online tests, practice questions. And the best part was like after taking a test, we used to get a report which stated the areas where we need to focus more and the areas where we were good at. So that was really very helpful. And we got previous year question papers. I guess that's quite important to know the pattern and all the stuff. And we even had many sample papers, which I think were sufficient enough. For me, it was sufficient enough.
All right. All right. Subhrita?
So for mainly aptitude and math and stuff, I used DQ Edge, of course. And like with the PTQ part, I think it was a little more expanded. It was just random websites that like I just visited to learn more about design principles and the elements of art and whatnot. Like there's not like one particular place that I can name, but I have Googled like quite a bit and like expanded the place where I've got information from. So
Right.
yeah, and practice tests, yeah, it was from DQ Labs, especially in the end when they released the 20 sets of like 25 questions each.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was really helpful.
All right. So I think you brought up a fantastic point where you said that you took the trouble to go beyond and just randomly search on the net and research about things. I think that's a very good characteristic in a person. Number one. Number two, uh, I think it's a very interesting thing that you took the initiative to do that because a lot of people, uh, it's not possible, even for us as an institute to have everything there, right? So there's a lot what we do there can give you a guideline. It can give you an idea. It can familiarize you, um, but it cannot give you the questions. All right. So for that, you also need to do a lot more research. And I think in DQ Edge, it also gives you suggestions for more resources where you can find out, and that's important that you'll explore. Disha, what was your uh, resources? What resources did you use?
Definitely DQ Labs, like from maths to aptitude to drawing, anything you want, anything I wanted, it was there. And also, like the design principles and the other topics we had to search, they were also discussed during class. So it's like the resources, like other websites were like given to us. So they compiled all the materials and made it very easy for us to, prepare.
All right, all right. Charita, what about you?
I mainly focused on what was on the content that was in DQ Edge. And I think DQ also conducted like online classes every day, I think 1 hour based on the PTQ syllabus. And I think that really helped. Um, I also did a lot of practice papers, which is, yeah.
All right, cool. Um, Prasid, what about you? You, I understand, use primarily the online study material of DQ Edge, right?
Yeah, correct. So yeah, I mainly depended on DQ Edge, and I also had support from my seniors. And yeah, I also Googled few questions. And for general knowledge, yeah, DQ Edge I also had one feature where you can, where you get a few general knowledge questions daily. Even that
Okay.
helped me a lot.
Okay. So that's interesting. Did the others take this general knowledge questions? I mean, take these questions which was on DQ Edge? Or maybe I could ask Rashi. Rashi, did you take the questions, the general knowledge questions daily quiz?
The daily quiz, yeah, I did for a few days, but
Okay.
I like I didn't score very well, so I was like, okay, I'll just study everything first and then come back to it. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. But what resources did you use?
I actually like I finished the DQ stuff first, like whatever was there, the book and the online material. And then I think I joined random groups on Telegram because like the student community is huge and the students themselves help others. So that's why like I want to take the benefit of it. So I just joined groups on Telegrams. I didn't know who those were, but they helped me a lot. Those people.
This is interesting. Where were these groups? I mean, is it like WhatsApp groups or online groups?
Yeah, because a lot of institutes use Telegram to like converse with their students, and these are not very well established institutes, I guess, or maybe some single person is teaching, or I don't know. I
Okay.
just tried some architecture, not NATA something, and
Okay.
then there were student groups in which they shared a lot of material.
On Telegram.
Yes, so that
All
was like
right.
a for me.
Awesome. Ananya. Ananya Vaidyanathan has just joined us. Of course, she told me she's going to join in by 5:30, and she has. So, Ananya, welcome. Um, yes. So, Ananya, could you please introduce yourself? All right. Just give us your NATA score, your Karnataka CT rank, and the school that you graduated from.
Okay, so sorry. Okay, my NATA score was 168.5 and my CT rank was 6. And I graduated from Kumarins CBSE.
All right, fantastic. And of course, we moved through many of the questions, but the question we're currently on is what resources you used to study for the PTQ questions. All right, um, in the NATA exam. So, what did you find most useful? What were the resources that you used?
Yeah, so that was the newer part which none of us were aware of. So I used the DQ Labs. I think we had 10 questions a day. So I would do those questions every day. And writing the first mock exam, the first NATA exam was a mock exam for the second one. So like that's when you know what exactly they'll ask.
Right. So good. So I think pretty much everyone has used the first one just to kind of get a feel of this. But coming down to one more thing, how long have you been preparing for NATA?
I think I started in April. No, I started in June, I think. Last June, I joined the classes, physical classes.
When you said
The
June, you
DQ.
mean so June 2019 is when you started. So
Yeah,
1
June
year.
2019.
All
Yeah.
right, all right. Cool. Right. Okay. All right. So, all right. So, the online classes, right? The online classes with the faculty. How useful was that for you? Like the classes which were taken for PTQ questions. How did you find those classes? Because every day we would launch 20-25 questions, and or every few days we would launch 25 questions, and then you would take it and then we would review that with our faculty. So how did you find that, Ananya?
I don't think I attended that. I don't remember.
So did anyone? Yeah. So who are the ones who attended that?
I attended them daily.
Okay. And you found that very useful, you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Okay. Did anyone else attend that?
Yeah, I did, and they were actually really helpful because they expanded my knowledge a lot. You know, they ranged from everything from design perspective, color theory, so that really helped a lot.
All right. All right. All right. Cool. Right. Right. So I'm just going through some more things. All right. So I think we are coming down towards the end of this session. So in the audience, if anyone has questions, please feel free to ask your questions. But yeah, as far as the support you got from DQ Labs, all right, for college selection or whether it was CET information or the JE SPA processes. So how did y'all find that in general?
Oh, I actually missed my SPA deadline, like my second deadline to pay an amount. So my seat got cancelled. Yeah, I could have applied through the special round counseling or something and got my seat back. But yeah, then I chose SEPT, so that was okay. But
Okay. So so coming down to that, you've got selected into CPT, right? Yeah. So have your classes started?
yes,
Okay.
4 weeks, I think.
Okay. And how do you?
Stressful 4 weeks.
All right. And how do you find the classes at SEPT?
They're good. They're just a lot of work.
Okay. And how do you manage to balance the work at home and the online sessions? Are you finding that interactive enough, or is it a challenge?
They are pretty interactive, but right now it's a lot of sketching. So they basically just give us our work and we continuously sketch from like morning till night. And then we have to submit our work and they review it and tell us where to improve and stuff.
Okay. And how many hours of classes do you have a day?
It's a lot. It's probably like 8 to 5:30, but our submissions are like at 6:30, 7:30. So we're working from like 8 in the morning to 8 in the evening, like continuously. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. And some of the questions we were asked talking about earlier is, what are you doing in sketching right now, and what you learned at DQ, the fundamental sketching. You would have learned sketching for NATA, but unfortunately you couldn't apply that for NATA. But is that useful for your classes that you've started off?
Yeah, 100%. Like I never knew perspective before, like very systematic drawing. So that way, I think like DQ was most important for its sketching. Like I went only for sketching because like school would provide me with math and mental ability and stuff. So for sketching, DQ was really good. And yeah, here like so what they haven't really been teaching us how to draw, so we're drawing what we've learned. So everything is based on what I learned in DQ.
Oh, really? Okay, that's very interesting. That Because this is a different perspective that they've not really, there's no sketching class as such, or is there a sketching
I
class?
think we've just started off, like the first 2 weeks was a speed sketching thing. So we just sketched everything and they didn't teach us that time. Now we're starting off, like first week was just lines. Like the whole week we do lines.
Okay.
And then the next week was shapes. So like that's it. So now I think we're slowly starting off with the teaching of sketching.
All right, fantastic. Okay, so the reason why I focused on that is because none of the others have started, or probably some of them have started classes today, but many of the students have not started classes yet. So everyone's a little curious what's happening, going to happen in the first few weeks. All right, so that's a good thing. Yeah. So any Simrita, what about you? You know, in terms of the support that you've received from DQ Labs, what did you find good?
So like I said, I used to play a lot of basketball during my 12th grade, especially. So I joined DQ Labs around September, October time, but I got to prepare only towards the end. So that time was when we used to have like online sessions, and they did like a whole revision. Like they did sketching like all over again, like from basic 1 point perspective to like humans and animals. So they started all the way from scratch. So that was extremely like that was the most helpful thing I think from DQ, because I didn't have enough time to go to DQ Labs and take the sketching classes and everything. I mean, in the end, we didn't have sketching, but like still, like it did give me like a good foundation in that. So yeah.
All right, and what about the things like the college selection, helping you choose a college, or the webinars we did with the colleges? Was that helpful to you or anyone here? Because I think that's been a challenge for everyone, to figure out which school to join, how to join these schools, what the processes are. So was that helpful?
I think initially when I planned on doing architecture, like I was only aware of maybe 3 or 4 colleges, and they were like the top ones. Like I had no idea about any other colleges. I think when DQ, like you guys did a series where like different colleges would come, and like professors from different colleges would come and speak. But moreover, there was a student edition or something where like like previous batch students would come and talk about the colleges they've joined and stuff, and I could relate to them more than like yeah. So those were really nice too. So those helped a lot.
All right, Charita, for you, what was the most useful things, including like the college selection process or the processes, application processes, and things like that?
It's exactly what Simrita said. The videos that you guys did with the previous batch and what colleges they selected, it made me have a clearer idea of what I wanted and which college I wanted to join, and to see exactly what options I had.
All right, all right. Just 1 second. All right. So let me just see if there are any more questions coming in. Right. Okay, so yes, so now finally I would like to understand if anyone has any words of encouragement, any ideas, any tips you'd like to share with the next batch, with the students that are coming in next. Is there anything specific that you would like to conclude with? So we can probably start off with Charita.
I would just say don't worry too much. It's an easy exam if you just pay attention to it. If I can do it, you can do it. Like there's not much to it. I just if you put in the work, then you will get the result. Yeah.
All right. Disha?
I would just say that go at your own pace. Comparing yourself with others is not going to do you any help. Yes, you need a bit of healthy competition, but also don't let others doing better than you get you down, because you are going to get there sooner or later.
Awesome. Simrita?
So like apart from like keeping up your motivation and stuff, I think it's very important to do well in 12th grade like boards, like don't neglect that. And moreover, like other than the core subjects like English and like the other elective that you've chosen, like those are so important because they can really boost your percentage up. So like don't leave those to the end. Like I mean, even if you do, just make sure you give enough time to those as well. So,
All right, all right. Rashi?
Yeah, so both are important, as you said. Then sketching is important, even if it's like not there in the exam. If you'll need it later in college. If you don't take it seriously, now you'll struggle. That's the like. Yeah, so sketching is important and aptitude and all we so then GK. GK is important too. So that's it.
All right. So focus a
Hello?
lot on sketching is what Rashi is saying. Okay, Prasid, what would your advice be to the next batch?
Yeah, so you don't have to get stressed out too much, and yeah, this is not as hard as JE papers. And if I've done this, anyone can do this.
Cool. Ananya?
It's really not that hard. So if you haven't started yet, there's nothing to like stress about. Like you can start now and you probably have enough time. Like it's just if you have your sketching down, then I think the rest will be really easy. So just practice sketching every day. And with DQ, like even their online classes which we did in summer was like really helpful. Like they go through everything properly. So maybe even if you have recorded videos, you can go over them again. So other than that, there's nothing. And yeah, exactly what Simi said, like you have to focus on your boards. Like it's literally 50-50. So don't neglect that at all. Yeah.
Cool, cool. I think you brought up a very interesting point about the online classes because a lot of people have a reservation, that, okay, I want to go for the physical classes, but I'm not very, comfortable with the online. So a lot of people hesitate with that. But I think many of y'all all of y'all have used the online classes very well, isn't it? Yeah. So and Prasad didn't even attend the online class. He just took the online study material and used that. Okay.
Yeah,
But
correct.
yeah, but for the others, it was the sketching which was more useful. So I want to know one thing from you. For those who've used the sketching, how was the feedback that y'all got when y'all could see other students' drawings, other students' sketches on DQ Edge? How did y'all find that? Maybe Aditi, if you could talk about that.
Yeah, so we use actually sketching. The more you practice, you would be good at it. Having ideas, for one topic, and when we used to see other sketches, that was really helpful. And others used to, some of them used to comment what is wrong in our drawing, what was right, and even sir had told for the PTQs to look at the sketches that would be helpful for us, which even I did.
So did you find that the sketching part of it, when you did the sketching and you actually uploaded it and you watched other students work, did you find that it helped you with the PTQs as well?
Yeah, like some design principles and all those stuff, 2D compositions and all that, those really help.
All
Few
right.
of them.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So Aditi, I think would you have any final uh, words of tips or encouragement to the next batch?
Yeah, so if they have sketching, better to keep practicing more topics and questions because it would be easier for them in the exam, and balance both the boards and the NATA JEE equally. Don't neglect any one of them. Just work sincerely and smartly. I guess that's enough.
Awesome. All right. I think we've come down to the end of this particular session of the tips from the 2020 Karnataka CET architecture toppers. All right. So thank you all for making it here, all of you, all of the toppers for making it here, and for the ones who couldn't make it, uh, we hope that we can host them at some other points of time. Um, but thanks a lot for taking the you guys for taking the time out, and Ananya as well for coming in between. I know she had classes, and that's why she's coming in between. Um, but yes, thanks a lot, and thank you all to the entire audience who's been here. Um, all the best to you guys, and do well for your session next year. Uh, Understand that all the points discussed here are very important, and they could help you be on this platform next. All right, so we want to see you guys on this next year at the same time. All the best to you. Thanks a lot. Uh, y'all can remain here. Hold on. I will just end the session on YouTube live. Just a second. Okay. All right.